Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean, and you're listening to the podcast on Prince, aka the Prince Podcast. Joining me today is Mr. Big Sexy and Saxer. How are you?
I'm cold, actually. I'm doing okay.
Okay. That's a little different.
A little cold in the Batcave today.
Yeah, see, you could have done it like Prince did in Do Me Baby. I'm so cold. But anyway, I was listening to that last night. We'll get into that later. Also joining us, Mr. Amp Pooh. Sir, how are you?
I may or may not have been getting my Morris day on, listening to Sexy MF earlier today.
Okay.
Yeah, just picture me not in my drawers, doing the vacuuming, and dancing like Morris Day.
It's quite the visual. All right, we got it.
I need to hear that.
I said not in. Sheesh. I think I
So
had
did that mean that you were
visual.
naked?
See, now
That's on you. That's on you.
At least you got. Hopefully, you had your lotion on. But anyway, moving on. We have a special guest on the show. We got some ladies. We got a lady here today, Queen, as we like to say. Violet Brown. How are you doing?
I like that. I was good, and then we started talking about draws and not draws, and I couldn't figure out where we were going, so I don't know anymore.
Well, welcome. You've been on the show before a couple of times, many times.
Yeah.
A lot of people remember you. You were on when we did the cat.
Yes.
I don't know if that was an interview or what that was.
That was story time hour, and it was really entertaining.
Story time with Auntie Cat.
Yes.
But so welcome. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
So what we're talking about, as you can probably see in the title, we're going to run down our top 5 Prince slow jams, ballads, whatever you want to call it, the slow cuts. As much as Prince is heralded for many of things, I sometimes feel like he doesn't get as much props for his plethora of slow jams. Like, that is just as much a part of who Prince is as the rock songs, the funk, and all that other stuff. This brother made slow cuts. And so we're going to give you our top 5s. I'm going to say right off the top here, my top 5 is not only going to be the top 5 slow jams to me, but this is what I would call the deep stroke list. So that'll let you know where my head is at, literally. But with that said, we'll start with the ladies first. And Violet, give us your top 5 Prince slow songs.
Darn it. Okay. So it's going to take a second. I'm going to try not to take your whole,
Take your time.
couple hours, but this is what the deal is. Big Sexy already asked you earlier, what category? You got live. You got, now in my mind, there are songs that are love songs where you're with someone you really care about and you want to make love. And then there are songs where it's just time to get down and you got to do what you got to do. So that's 2 different categories. And then you have ballads that are more spiritual. And then you have the ballads that are spiritual and sexual mixed. So I did the best I could. I have like 30 songs, but I'm going to give you 5. And my other thing is I am a Gemini. And what my favorite is changes with mood. So nobody hold me to this forever. Okay. So number 1 is going to be shh. Break it down. Everybody knows. You know where I'm going with that. Number 2 is going to be.
Can I ask you a question real quick? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just jump in. Which version of shh are you?
It doesn't matter. I think, honestly, because I saw him at Musicology, and that version is because of the guitar solos, and then you have Rondo on bass. But then there's a version where Sonny T is on bass, and that's some other stuff too. So that's why I said you asked like 5, and I'm like,
Okay.
And the other thing is, this list is not in order of importance. All of these, I mean, they could just all be on the same line. Gotcha. So the first one is that one. The second one I'll say is The One. I can listen to that anytime, any place, anywhere. Then Damn You. That's one that, yeah. The Beautiful Ones. And She Loves Me for Me. But then I have, just forgive me because I have to put Insatiable, Revelation, and Do Me Baby on the same line. Sorry, but that it is what it is.
Prince fans, I'd say.
I can't leave out Revelation. I'm so sorry.
Wow. So tell us your list. So you said you had shh, which I had that on my list for a second, and I was wrestling with it, and it was the Beautiful Experience
Okay.
performance version.
Okay.
So you had
Gotcha.
Shh, and then what was the other ones again?
So the next one is The One.
The One, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then, and just keep in mind, so we talked about the different, because if he can make any song sound good live, right? The songs that I listed, I try to get the ones that no matter what format it's in, doesn't matter what year he's playing, doesn't matter if I'm listening to just the record or whatever. I feel things physically. Those are the things that I try to put at the top of the list. So that's why Shh is on there, because it doesn't matter what year it is. Then The One, which that one, he would do that with The Question of You, which I didn't say, but that's another one, but I'll leave that to the side. And then Damn You, which he didn't do a whole lot, but that's just the record playing. That's good enough. The Beautiful Ones gets me every time. And then She Loves Me for Me, but that one's more like love. I just think that's the sweetest song. I love that song.
Speak to me about that song, because that's something. That's I'm not gonna say a newer song, but that was on Rainbow Children.
The Rainbow Children.
Rainbow Children.
Yeah.
Talk to me why you like that song.
I always like the songs when he's doing a ballad and it seems like he might have been in love at the time. Now I know that he would write songs and then release them 30 years later and all that kind of stuff, and I get it. But the album that I connected with and the woman that I connected with and all that kind of stuff, and he just seemed happy, it just gives a certain vibe. And the lyrics, of course, because it talks about that kind of love where they're just the right person for you in every way. They just get you and you get them and that whole thing. I just love that. It's super romantic.
Awesome. All right. Love it. Aunt Pooh. What's your
Yes,
top
sir.
5 Prince slow jams, ballads, what have you?
Now, I had some some honorable mentions just in case someone named a song that I was going to list. Thankfully, I'm going second, so she only named two. So glad I got backups. My thing was the one I was definitely going to do the live rendition one with The Question of You. I just really loved how that went. But my 5 are, of course, the ballad, the love song, if you gonna propose or you gonna get the draws for the first time, you should put this on.
Whoa.
Adore is gonna do everything.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying. And then if you just gonna get hot, funky, sweaty sex and have her go crazy that good, you gonna go with Scandalous. And I'm not just any Scandalous. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the Sex Suite.
See, I like the rapture on the Sex Suite.
See, and fellas, I'm just letting you know you're gonna have to. You can't put that song if you ain't had your Blue Chew, because you need to go from beginning.
Wait. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Have you what?
Your Blue Chew. Do your Googles.
Oh, okay. Lord. I thought you said something totally different. My bad.
Oh, Lord.
What's this nigga into?
Wait, okay, I need to know. What did you think I said?
He went there.
I thought you said something about booty or something. I was like, well, but let's keep it moving. Just go ahead. Don't mind me.
Okay, and then of course, in my opinion, the best song off of his last great masterpiece albums, "Call My Name."
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Give me your list real quick one more time.
Okay, so of course, Adore.
Yep.
Scandalous. Call My Name. And then one.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you. The baby shut you down.
Come on, go, baby, go. There's this one song that's had 5 different versions released, and every single one of them, in my opinion, have been excellent. I'm talking about Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, a hidden gem, but I think is an impeccable piece of musicianship, and lyrically, it sets the mood. It just gets you in the mood, and at the same time, it says something to that partner from planet Earth, somewhere here on Earth.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I have to go back and listen to that song. I haven't heard that in quite a while.
When I discovered that, I wore that out for a good month. It was just not only, again, what he was saying in it, but the music. It was just a nice mix of R&B and jazz. And please forgive me because I'm not a jazz aficionado, but I just love the live drumming, that horn, the piano. It was just a masterpiece. to me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good list. We'll let you go and take care of your baby. Let's keep it moving. Big Sexy. We'd love to hear what your list is.
Well, I went ahead and extended mine into things that he wrote as well. Initially, I wanted to include one of the Time songs, but I looked into it, and he didn't write it, so can't put that one in.
Oh, you're talking about Sometimes They Get Along.
Yep. That's my jam, but that's not on there. So,
okay, let me stop.
Now, in no particular order, I too chose Call My Name because that one hits me right in that spot. You know, you want to, like Violet said, sometimes you want to just get into it, and sometimes you want to be genuine, and you have, real emotions happening too. This song is like a combination of both. I love it. The video is beautiful. It's a great song. Number 2, and we're gonna go a little left field here. The lovely Bria Valente singing Something You Already Know. Yes. Yes. That song is Mac material all day long. From there, I also chose Revelation, but I'm going to be really precise. Revelation, the 11-minute version. That's what's up. Okay, got the saxophone happening, all that. That's the jam. Also, If I Was Your Girlfriend. I went through a relationship kind of like that, back way back when. And when I heard the song years later, it immediately took me back to that place. So I kind of understood what Prince was dealing with when he was writing that song. And it still holds a special place. And my last but not least is the one that kicked off my whole Prince slow jam vibe back in the day. International Lover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me take you for a ride, ladies.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That was on my very first Mac cassette back in the day. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Couldn't tell me.
If Big Sexy, if you had to pick one, I know this is a tough thing to throw on you, but if you had to pick one of those, what would you play first?
See, that's a hard question because, you have to factor in the young lady you're going to be with,
Exactly.
everybody's different. But if I just had to pick one, and again, stealing from Violet, today on March 20th, it would probably be Something You Already Know. Because lyrically, it gets it started. It's like, oh, you know this. Oh, here we go, baby.
Okay.
That's a great album. That makes me, you said her voice, that makes me think of Here I Come, because that's Here I Come and Elixir are on my second list of songs.
I need to go listen to this album. Shit.
Yeah.
I just, Here I Come, that one, yeah.
The title alone, I'm like, whoa.
You need to listen to the lyrics. That's the good. That's
Wow.
Flipping.
So we talking about Prince. We talking about Prince. Prince was getting it in. So come on now. All right. Well, man. Well, like I said, I definitely need to go back and really listen to that Bria Valente album. I think I probably only really heard it like once, to be quite honest, back in the day.
Okay.
But I can tell I need to go back and revisit that for sure.
do.
All right. All right. Here's my list. Again, this is the deep stroke list. You dig? So I'm gonna do my honorable mentions real quick. First honorable mention, I just always loved this song and I love their voices. I particularly love Prince's voice on this. It is a remake cover. It is La 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 Means I Love You.
Okay.
But I love that song.
That's a good
I
song.
love when Shantae Moore comes in as well in the backgrounds. Just adore it. The other honorable mention, this is a slow jam to me. We're talking about Prince. This is the guy who has songs like Head, all this stuff. Let's not act like he's just some super lover. He gets it in. So the other honorable mention is, again, this is my mind, We Can Fuck. That's slow jam to me. Okay. Okay.
There's a little too much funk in there. I don't know.
Hey,
But,
the slow jams, that's the whole thing of slow jams is funk is, that's that, that's the jam. I mean.
Are you talking about the song or something else?
All of that, man. All of that. That's your slow jam may be this my, nigga, let me have mine. Damn. This how I get down. All right, so the actual list, and I guess these are somewhat in order. So I'll start at number 5. Number 5 is we say, when I'm alone in my room, I can't stop dreaming about you. I just feel like that song, Dreaming About You, is underrated or something. I just feel like it's like a great song, and you can put that on, and it's a deep stroke song. Number 4, it's a classic Prince song. I'm actually, I don't know if anybody else picked this. Do Me Baby.
I mentioned it. It was in my mentions.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Do Me Baby is quintessential Prince slow jam. Maybe you can argue that it may be the first kind of like slow jam Prince. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like where he really just came out. It's like, oh, okay, this dude ain't not playing.
For me, I always call it the Wretched Anthem because they love that song. If they don't know no Prince song, they know that one.
Hey, yeah. That speaks to us, dude. You know, everything about it. Number 3, Insatiable.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the video. Number 2 is a little different. Number 2 is the Continental, but the last 3 minutes or something. Tell me how you wanna be.
That's actually a song. That's on Crystal Ball. Yeah,
because I was gonna say the version on Crystal Ball.
It's a little different. But I just like the one on the Symbol album. That to me, that is one of those things that could have been its own thing, like on the album. It should have been its own sort of thing. Like I just feel like that is such a Prince move to let me just throw this ill, sexy shit at the end of it. Y'all ain't ready for it. And then he just get to talking his talk. And I think is that Carmen Electra?
Yep.
Talking.
Is that Carmen?
They going in on that one. I love it. When you say you can squeeze my
Mike, if I may put in one thing here, when I saw the Act 1 tour, when they did the Continental at the end, the lights start to go down, and Prince said, "Ladies, never forget to tell your man how you want to be done." The whole building exploded. It was amazing.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. You put that on, get your podcast juice too.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
Shoot, man. That's why I listen to some of these Prince songs, and what was Scandalous Sex Suite comes to mind too. I actually feel like he was in the studio.
Well,
when they were, I would not be surprised. He was like whoever the engineer, Susan. Can you go out? I'll call you when we need you. Lit them candles. Hit that 2-inch tape up. It was like. Bam. And he was like, you, and you, come in. Prince a wild boy. But yeah, anyway. Then the last one is the quintessential Prince in my mind. I couldn't have a list without it. Number 1 is Adore. Like it's just,
of course,
that's just one of his greatest of all time. So that's essentially my list. Like I was wrestling with there's so many other songs though. Like it's just ridiculous actually when you think about it.
One that got into my honorable mention that I was going to name if some of the other songs got named by people that I just discovered was Noon Rendezvous, the Prince version. I love that. I absolutely love that version. And it's such a beautiful ballad.
Yeah. While I got you guys here then too, if you can remember, are there any performances that stand out in your mind of some of these slow songs? Like, just the top of my head, the Nude tour when they do Me Baby is on that one video.
Man,
and it's at the extended intro.
Yeah.
And just the way Prince comes out, like when they say Prince be floating, that was the real life.
Man,
he just comes like,
yes. Like, then he's on top of the piano and just, now my mind is going places.
Well, for me, it'd have to be the One Night Alone tour for Nothing Compares to You. That version was moved up to number 1 as far as the best rendition of the song.
Okay. Any
I
other?
would say Insatiable off the Act 1 tour.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I still say Musicology.
Yeah.
There's a rehearsal 1999 tour, a rehearsal of "Do Me Baby." I wish I could find it. That they did some great things with that. If I could find the boot, I'll definitely send a link to it. But there's he did a rehearsal version of "Do Me Baby" that to this day stays in my playlist.
Nice.
Okay. Do you think? What if? And I know he sort of toyed with this before, at least talking about it, and maybe a more of a compilation aspect. But would you have? I would have loved to hear him just do a pure album, like a just straight love and ballads, like.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. That One Night Alone solo piano, to me, that's kind of that. It was when I was sitting here agonizing over which songs to pick. That's an album you can put that whole thing on and just let it play to the end and have your wine and your, if you're with the right person. But that whole album, to me, and it's just him and a piano and a little bit of bass and drum, just a little bit. But that definitely, in my mind, that fits in that category.
Okay, I can see that.
It didn't make my list because I hadn't thought about it yet. But another live performance of a ballad that was really good is "Slow Love" from the Sign of the Times tour.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. That's what made me love the song. Actually, when I saw the movie and saw how they performed it, I was like, God, like
that's a good one.
Now you hear the song. Like I was like, God damn. Yeah,
I guess for me, it's all the ones where he's on top of the piano. So the Question of You new tour, that's definitely a thing because he's sitting at the piano, he's batting his eyelashes on the beat, and then he climbs up on top of the piano for the guitar solo. Oh, okay.
Let me get into my psychotherapist. So you like Prince on top? Is that what?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I have no problem. I'm good with that.
Ain't mad at you. Ain't not mad at you.
Does Joy and Repetition, is that a ballad?
I put it in my list for the spiritual sexual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because definitely the after show version.
For sure.
Required listening.
For sure.
Okay.
I listened to that today, actually.
Which what you say after show? Oh, you mean the released one?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
One tour.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was, one thing I was doing kind of researching for this, I was just looking over each album. And it's interesting. Zuka say almost the first album is just pure, like a lot of more R&B, slow cuts, mid-tempo type stuff. And the second album kind of starts to branch out a little bit. You hit Dirty Mind. It's like he's got a broken heart in there in the middle of just like this other shit that he's now sort of discovered. And then to me, like I said, with Controversy, it's like he expounds upon this new direction, but he puts in Do Me Baby that it's like, okay, I'm on some other shit, but don't get it twisted. Like, I'll tear them drawers down. Like, I'm gonna put.
He wrote about that in that most recent book, the one that is his memoir with the author that joined him. Mm-hmm. I feel like he might have said that "Do Me Baby" was when he felt like that was the first time he knew he really had something with the ballad. I'll look again, but I know I read it. I want to say it's in that book. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, and because it's almost like I think we've talked about this before. It has it's Prince, but it still has I guess its lineage is in a traditional, soul, slow jam. It has that, but it's done Princified. And then, of course, the next album, International Lover, again, it is Prince, but he still latched onto a very soul, bluesy type of thing, but it's just his take on it. Even in the midst of the rest of the album is just, he's really, doing his whole futuristic type shit and funk and all that.
Another really good live ballad performance that I like, and again, I discovered that late too, was the 1980 Paris show where he did Still Waiting.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then, what was I saying? So if you're going back to his albums, like, I think when you get to, of course, Purple Rain was a big thing, but when you get to like, what's the album? Cherry Moon, Parade album. I almost feel like it doesn't have any really like
Nope.
doesn't
I was
have
thinking
that,
about
that
too.
whole R&B slow jam thing at all on there. It's done differently.
Different
but
mode, yeah.
but he's like, that's why I was listening to. I was like, God, this album, he was really on some other. I mean, he was at the point where he could just do some different, like even different for him, like. And he latched onto this whole other vibe, which is dope. And it was like when Sign of Times, he's like came back to, I'm still the superstar, super creative dude, but let me drop another hammer just to let you know. And he finishes the album with it, like, which I think is so powerful. Like, I'm still that dude. I'll put down some art, I'll shut it down. And he does it. It's like, God, this is remarkable.
Yeah, to me, the ballad from that era of the Under Cherry Moon, to me, I would say the ballad is Alexa to Paris.
I love that song. Love that song.
I mean, to me, that's like the closest to a ballad for that album and the B-side.
Awesome. Okay.
I love that song.
Awesome. But yeah, so those are our top 5 Prince slow songs. I would love to hear what the listeners think. I know there's a lot we didn't talk about.
For sure.
So it's like you could go, even like his later work, like the newer stuff, there's bangers like
Would I Hate You be a ballad?
Man,
Yeah, man.
It seems so tempting.
I was wrestling with that one. Yeah.
I literally was just thinking that's on my list.
Yeah, that's a cold one.
I also have like 14 from Madhouse, and there's no lyrics, but
yes.
that's one you could just put that one on. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's imagine you say that. There's a track off of the first Madhouse album that's purely slow jam. Again,
Is it 3?
Remind me how it slightly goes on.
It starts off with Eric Leeds sax. I love that song. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's 3.
Yeah, that song is cool. I would be shocked if those songs actually had some vocals or there were things written to them. That would blow my mind if somehow they could, you know what, he actually sung on some of these. I'd be like, what?
Knowing him, you probably did.
I'd be bugging. But yeah, so and I hopefully for newer people getting into Prince, please go check out these songs we've recommended. Just understand everything you know about Prince. There's just so much more, no matter what genre you're talking about, but particularly with the slow jams, this guy was a beast with it. So
I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. I generally don't call them ballads when I'm talking about Prince, because I think the way that he did everything different, he did everything better. He was always above. I actually call them Prince instrumentals. I don't call them ballads because his ballads do things to you physically and emotionally that other songs just don't do. But
Prince instrumentals. Let me ask you about that. And we've kind of been talking about this the last few shows. I've been trying to throw it in there. What is it about? And I want to hear, Violet, your take on this. What is it about Prince that when you hear these songs, or even when you see him perform these songs, as you mentioned, what is it why do you think it speaks to you? You know what I mean? Because the thing with a Prince fan is like, when you are a Prince fan into it, you're like really into it. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's something that's being communicated or something that pulls that out of people. And I'm just curious, what do you think it is? For
me, it depends. Part of it is lyrics, because there are some of those lyrics, like the lyrics in Damn You, oh my God, or the lyrics in Insatiable. But then the other thing is, he literally had the ability to make songs sound like feelings. So like when you're playing a song, you use flat notes if you want to make it sound sad, right? He had a way of making songs literally sound like sex. I don't know how he did it, but he could do that. He has songs that, like Solo, sounds like sadness, and it gets you and you go into another place. I think that's the thing with him, is he could play music in a way that he didn't have to say anything. He pulls you in and you feel it. But the lyrics too.
And what about it in terms? So that's one aspect. Excuse me. Then also, because you talked about the performance of it, the visual of it. What is it visually? Yeah.
You really want me to? So I thought you said you did not want this the last time.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's the thing with him is one of the major things about him that's different than any other performer I've ever seen is that one of the things that I liked is that he always brought together the most amazing people. So he's amazing. He's got all these other amazing people with him coming together to do this thing, like what you call your Justice League or the Avengers or however you want to put it. But then he could also do all of that stuff by himself in the studio, just him. That's amazing to me. And then he could look good doing it, because there are lots of people that play music, but they don't look the same when they do it. It's not the same look. He had a way of, with his face. So he's looking at you, he's making eye contact, he's doing certain things as far as his expression that say things. The way he holds a guitar is different. The way that he's moving, all of that stuff. He really, I know that he sat down and looked at himself and then fine tuned it. He was on point with that. He had that just right. Because a lot of people, when they play, they're kind of in the music, but they're not aware of what they're doing with their body. He clearly was, but he knew where to put what, and it just works.
See, that's an important thing about Prince that you don't hear a lot. He knew what to do with his body while he was playing the songs. And you see that if you really watch him. You can tell the mannerism. To me, I always was fascinated with his hands. It's like he had to be like particularly moving his fingers and his hands in a very particular way, because he knew, like, all of this matters. And that's the detail of it. It was like he was down to his fingers, let alone the collars and the lapels and the shoes. Like, it was even just like you're saying, his eye movements and the facial expressions. I wonder how much time he would spend just on that alone, aside from the music, like just watching himself and like, okay, let me do it this way and look that way and emote this type of emotion. Yeah, it was just fascinating.
Two things I just thought about with you saying that are him batting his eyelashes on the beat. The Question of You performance. And then on that Do Me Baby, same tour, so it's new tour, when he's on top of the piano and he's, oh my God. But everything he's doing, I know he couldn't see himself at that moment, but he had to have practiced it and he got it just right. Just right.
Yeah. And that tour actually, because we mentioned it before, we could say with Do Me Baby, I wonder if that is a turning point in terms of his like stage presence almost too, where it's like, coming off of Love Sexy and all that, there's a little break, but there's something, whatever happens between that space, when he comes out on that new tour, he's almost got a whole new, even more fine-tuned performance of himself. You know what I mean? Like, just his mannerisms and his movements, and he just understands like his sort of like, almost like his floatiness or his it's like a very masculine daintiness, which they don't go together, but he is somehow able to. It's an interesting thing, and nobody has ever captured that before since then. Like, I don't know of any performer who can look very effeminate at times, but and then look very muscular. I mean, look very not muscular, but masculine.
At the same time, that's very difficult to pull off.
And pull it off. That's the key. Where like
people try.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a very interesting thing. Anything else we wanted to cover on this before we wrap this up?
I'm like, don't ask that question. I'm gonna let it go.
No, go ahead. We're good with time if you want to say something else.
No, I think that this is one you have to do in parts, because there's just a whole lot of songs, man, in that category.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to call out, what are some of you guys' thoughts on another great, and I feel very, very, very underrated ballad, When Two Are in Love.
Oh my God.
That was actually my number 2, but I took it off. Yeah.
We have all the same songs. That's definitely one. Yeah. It's the Come Bathe With Me. Oh my God. It's the lyrics. It's the lyrics on that one.
And another one that I think needs to get a little bit more love, and it's out there because, of course, he has Morris Day singing it with all of his bravado added to it. Gigolos Get Lonely Too.
Classic.
That's a good one.
Classic.
Yeah. That's one of the originals with him, and you can't really tell. It's not much of a difference between him and Morris Day doing it.
He gave Morris some banger slow. I even, to me, not Gigolos, but If the Kid Can't Make You Come is badass to me. Like, if you ready to go back and listen to it now.
He gave him some good music. We didn't talk about Power Fantastic, did we?
We did not, no.
Okay, because that needs to be mentioned.
Okay.
And then actually, I have a question for y'all. Somebody said something?
Go ahead.
I was
just going to ask you guys about the dance. And I mean the Chocolate Invasion version, or Expectation unreleased version, versus the one that's on 3121.
I'm not I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of them, but this is not a song that I normally would play, so I can't speak on it really.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, there you go. And Pooh, you were gonna say something, then we're gonna wrap it up.
Did we Screams of Passion? Do we think that's a ballad? Because that's another beautiful one.
Yeah,
that
man.
I would agree with.
Yeah. That's one of those ones I think if they ever do originals too, should be on there.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be banging. All right.
Wait, you guys haven't heard the Prince version of that?
Oh, I have. I'm just saying it should be on the originals because it's dope.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Prince version. There's also a rehearsal version that is dope too.
Nice.
With the Revolution. All right. So there we go. Those are top 5 slow jam songs, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear what you think about it. I know you got some other picks. Thank you, Violet Brown, for joining us. Violet, where can they find you online?
VioletBinteractive.com, but mostly on Instagram. That's usually where I am, and I do try to, communicate with folks. So I'm glad to see you there.
And you post these great videos of yourself playing bass along with some Prince songs and stuff from time to time.
I've actually started taking requests at this point. People didn't DM me for things they want to hear. Okay. So some of the stuff that you see me playing, that's why I'm playing it.
Nice. I got to think of a song I want to see you play then. Okay. All right. And Pooh, where can they find you online? All right. There you go. Big Sexy and Sack, where can they find you online, sir? Damn, did I lose everybody?
It looks like it's just me and you.
I guess so. It's like they muted themselves or something. But with that said, we had some technical difficulties with those brothers. Salute them. Salute to y'all, the listener. And yo, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.